Coming up to Sona, 102. Having borne 10 sons in this body, then being weak and aged, I approached a nun. 103. She taught me the Dhamma, the elements of existence, the sense bases, and the elements. Having heard her Dhamma, having cut off my hair, I went forth. 104. Of me undergoing training, the Deva I has been purified. I know my former habitation, where I lived before. 105. And intent and well concentrated, I developed the signless. I have had immediate, complete release. I have become quenched without clinging. 106. The 5 elements of existence, being known, stand with root cut off. Born from an enduring foundation, I am immovable. There is now no renewed existence. So she had 10 sons before she went forth. Pada, the former Jain, Niganta. 107. With hair cut off, wearing dust, formerly I wandered, having only one robe, thinking there was a fault where there was no fault, and seeing no fault where there was a fault. 108. Going out from my daytime resting place on Mount Gijakuta, I saw the stainless Buddha, attended by the Sangha of monks. 109. Having bent the knee, having paid homage to him, I stood with cupped hands, face to face with him. Come Bada, he said to me, that was my ordination. 110. Anga and Magadha, Vaji, Kasi and Kosala have been wandered over by me. For 55 years without death, I have enjoyed the alms of the kingdoms. 111. Truly he produced much merit. Truly wise was that lay follower who gave a robe to Bada, who is now freed from all bonds. See the first verse, 107. She said, with hair cut off, wearing dust, formerly I wandered, having only one robe. If she was a Jain is a type of this Nikanta, a type of naked ascetics. There were 3 types of naked ascetics during the Buddha's time. She was one of them. So because she was naked, so she says she was wearing dust. By having only one robe, these Nigantas, they cover the private part with a small piece of cloth. Probably what she means, having one robe. And she must have been young when she came to the Buddha, because after that she became enlightened, I think, and she says, for 55 years without death I have enjoyed the alms of the kingdoms. That means she was probably enlightened already for 55 years. Patachara, another famous nun. 112. Plowing the field with plows, sowing seeds in the ground, nourishing wives and children, young Brahmins find wealth. 113. Why do I, possessed of virtuous conduct, complying with the teaching of the teacher, not obtain quenching? I am not slack, not puffed up. 114. Having washed my feet, I paid attention to the waters, and seeing the foot water come to the low land from the high land, then I concentrated my mind like a noble thoroughbred horse. 115. Then taking a lamp, I entered my cell. Having inspected the bed, I sat on the couch. 116. Then taking a needle, I drew out the wick. The complete release of my mind was like the quenching of the lamp. This one in the Dhammapada commentary, I think, mentions about how this Patachara was enlightened. She was just going to the kuti, and because they were barefoot, when they go into the kuti, they have to wash their feet. So she took this bowl of water and splashed on her feet. According to the Dhammapada commentary, if I remember correctly, she saw the water flow a bit and then sink into the ground. And then she took the water a second time and splashed her feet again, and then the water went a little bit further and sank to the ground. And the third time she did that, the water even went further and sank to the ground. Then it reminded her of her own close family members who died. Her 2 children, two very young children died. It was just like the water running a short distance and sinking to the ground refers to people who die young, and those who die in middle age are like those in the second time she splashed the water, and the third time when the water went a bit further, she thought it was just like people who die in their old age. Because before she became a nun, she had run off with a slave. She fell in love with a slave, and being from a rich family, the family, of course, would never allow her to marry a slave. So the two of them eloped, ran away, then had two babies over a period of time. And then she wanted to go back to the mother's house, and then along the way, it rained, a big storm came, and then the husband was trying to find some wood, and when she pulled the wood, a snake came out and bit him, and he died this snake poisoning. And then the next day, when Patachara with the two babies wanted to cross the river, had to leave one on this side. The river was swollen because of the rain. She had to cross with one baby to the other side. And then, so she left one this side and she brought another one to the other side. Then when she wanted to come back to fetch the first one, she saw an eagle come to take the younger baby, just born one, and take the baby and fly off. So she screamed and tried to go towards the baby, and then the elder boy behind saw her screaming and running away, panicked, shouted for her and jumped into the river. So when she turned back, she saw the boy fall into the river. And then the eagle had already taken the young one, and she went searching for the boy, but the river was flooded, so couldn't find the boy. So she finally gave up and cried until all her tears were gone. And she went home. By the time she went home, she saw the house was demolished because of the big storm last night. Big tree fell on the house. So the parents died, the brother also died. So all the family members died. So she was so grief-stricken that she went out of her mind. Went out of her mind, became crazy, wandered here and there, naked. Finally came to the Buddha. And the Buddha probably used the psychic power to make her sane again. And then she poured out everything to the Buddha. And then after that, she became a nun. 30 bhikkhunis, 117. Having taken pestles, young Brahmins grind corn. Nourishing wives and children, young Brahmins find wealth. 118. Do the Buddha's teaching, which having done, one does not repent. Quickly, having washed your feet, sit down on one side. Intent on peace of mind, do the Buddha's teaching. 119. They, having heard her utterance, the teaching of Patachara, having washed their feet, sat down on one side. Intent on peace of mind, they did the Buddha's teaching. 120. In the first watch of the night, they recollected that they had been born before. In the middle watch of the night, they purified the Deva eye. In the last watch of the night, they tore asunder the mass of darkness. 121. Standing up, they paid homage to her feet. Your advice has been well taken. We shall dwell honoring you like the 30 Devas honoring Indra, who is unconquered in battle. We have the triple knowledge. We are without asavas. Chanda, 122. Formerly I fared ill, a widow without children. Without friends and relations, I did not obtain food or clothing. 123. Taking a bowl and stick, begging from family to family, and being burned by cold and heat, I wandered for 7 years. 124. But having seen a nun who had obtained food and drink, approaching her, I said, send me forth into the homeless state. 125. And Patachara, in pity, sent me forth. Then, having exhorted me, she urged me towards the highest goal. 126. Having heard her utterance, I took her advice. The noble lady's exhortation was not in vain. I have the triple knowledge. I am without asavas. So this lady, the husband died, and she had to beg for her food. groups of 6 verses. Panchasatta Patachara, 127. Whose way you do not know, either coming or going, that being you lament, come you know not where, come from you know not where, crying, my son, 128. But you do not grieve for him whose way you know, either coming or going, for of such a nature are living creatures. 129. Unasked he came from there, unpermitted he went from here. Surely, having come from somewhere or other, having lived a few days, he went from here by one road, he will go from there by another. Passed away with the form of a man, he will go journeying on. As he came, so he went. What lamentation is there in that? So this one, somebody is telling this Patachara, why do you keep grieving? 131. Truly she has plucked out my dart, hard to see, nestling in my heart, which grief for my son she has thrust away for me, overcome by grief. 132. Today I have my dart plucked out, I am without hunger quenched. I go to the Buddha, the Dhamma and the Sangha as a refuge. So this lady, she is grieving for her son who passed away. So this nun gave her all this advice from verse 127 to 130. Vasiti, 133. Afflicted by grief for my son, with mind deranged, out of my senses, naked, with disheveled hair, I wandered here and there, untidy hair. 134. I dwelt on rubbish heaps in the cemetery and on highways. I wandered for 3 years, consigned to hunger and thirst. 135. Then I saw the wayfarer gone to the city of Mithila, the tamer of the untamed, the enlightened one, who has no fear from any quarter. 136. Regaining my mind, having paid homage to him, I sat down. In pity, Gautama taught me the Dhamma. 137. Having heard his Dhamma, I went forth into the homeless state. Applying myself to the teacher's utterance, I realized the blissful state. 138. All grief have been cut out, eliminated, ending thus. For the grounds are comprehended by me, from which is the origin of grief. This one sounds very much like Patachara. But this one may be only just one son. Kema, verse 139 is spoken by Mara. You are young and beautiful. I am also young and in my prime. Come, Kema, let us delight ourselves with the fivefold music. And Kema answered, 140, I am afflicted by and ashamed of this foul body, diseased, perishable. Craving for sensual pleasures has been rooted out. 141. Sensual pleasures are like swords and stakes. The elements of existence are a chopping block for them. What you call delight in sensual pleasures is now non-delight for me. 142. Everywhere love of pleasure is defeated. The mass of darkness is torn asunder. Thus know, evil one, you are defeated and maker. 143. Revering the lunar mansions, tending the fire in the wood, not knowing as it really is. Fools, you thought it was purity. 144. But I indeed, revering the enlightened one, best of men, am completely released from all pains, doing the teacher's teaching. Sujata, 145. Ornamented, well-dressed, wearing a garland smeared with sandalwood paste, covered with all my ornaments, attended by a crowd of slave women. 146. Taking food and drink, food hard and soft, in no small quantity, going out from the house, I betook myself to the pleasure garden. 147. Having delighted there, having played, coming back to my own home, I saw a vihara. I entered the Anjana wood at Saketa. 148. Having seen the light of the world, having paid homage to him, I sat down. In pity, the one with vision taught me the Dhamma. 149. And having heard the great seer, I completely pierced the truth. In that very place, I attained the stainless Dhamma, the state of the undying. 150. Then knowing the true Dhamma, I went forth into the homeless state. The three knowledges have been obtained. The Buddha's teaching was not in vain. Anupama. 151. I was born in an exalted family which had much property and much wealth, was possessed of good complexion and figure, being Maja's own daughter. 152. I was sought after by king's sons, longed for by merchant sons. One sent my father a messenger saying, "Give me Anupama." 153. However much that daughter of yours, Anupama, weighs, I shall give you 8 times that amount of gold and jewels. 154. I, having seen the Enlightened One, who was supreme in the world, unsurpassed, having paid homage to his feet, sat down on one side. 155. In pity, Gautama taught me the Dhamma. Seated on that seat, I attained the third fruit. 156. Then cutting off my hair, I went forth into the homeless state. Today is the 7th night since my craving was dried up. It's very unusual for a lay person to hear the Dhamma and attain the third fruition, Anagamin. That's only possible if in a previous human life she had already attained the 4 jhanas. Because the Buddha says the condition for attaining Anagamin, third fruit, and Arahant, fourth fruit, is the 4 jhanas. Mahapajapati Gotami, this is the foster mother of the Buddha. 157. Buddha, hero, homage to you, best of all creatures, who release me and many other people from pain or suffering. 158. All pain is known, craving as the cause is dried up. The Noble Eightfold Path has been developed, cessation has been attained by me. 159. Formerly I was mother, son, father, brother and grandmother. Not having proper knowledge, I journeyed on without expiation. 160. That Blessed One has indeed been seen by me. This is the last body. Journeying on from rebirth to rebirth has been completely eliminated. There is now no renewed existence. 161. I see the disciples all together, putting forth energy, resolute, always with strong effort. This is homage to the Buddhas. 162. Truly for the sake of many, Maya bore Gautama. She thrusts away the mass of pain of those struck by sickness and death. Maya is the Buddha's biological mother who passed away soon after he was born. Gutta, 163. Gutta, devote yourself to that very thing for the sake of which you went forth, giving up your son and those who are equally dear. Do not go under the influence of mind. 164. Creatures deceived by mind, delighting in Mara's realm, run through the journeying on of numerous rebirths, ignorant. 165. Desire for sensual pleasures and malevolence, and the false view of identity, misapprehension about rules and virtuous conduct and vows, and uncertainty. 5th. 166. O none, having abandoned these fetters leading to the lower world, you will not come to this again. 167. Having avoided desire, pride and ignorance and conceit, having cut the fetters, you will put an end to pain. 168. Having annihilated journeying on from rebirth to rebirth, comprehending and giving up renewed existence in the world of phenomena, you will wander without hunger still. Vijaya. 169. 4 or 5 times I went forth from my cell or kuti, not having obtained peace of mind, being without self-mastery over the mind. 170. Having approached a nun, having honored her, I questioned her. She taught me the Dhamma, and the elements and the sense bases. 171. The 4 noble truths, the faculties and powers, the constituents of enlightenment, and the eightfold way for the attainment of the supreme goal. 172. Having heard her utterance, taking her advice, in the first watch of the night, I recollected that I had been born before. 173. In the middle watch of the night, I purified the Deva eye. In the last watch of the night, I tore asunder the mass of darkness. 174. And I then dwelt, suffusing the body with joy and happiness. On the seventh day, I stretched forth my feet, having torn asunder the mass of darkness. Shall we stop here and then we can discuss?
Okay, so this is the last book of the Khuddaka Nikaya. Maybe issues are more.
Say again.
This is the last chapter of Khuddaka Nikaya.
Yes. If you want, we can go a bit faster, do a bit more, and then in 2 nights we can finish. Come, we do a few more pages. Groups of 7 verses. Uttara 1, verse 175. Having taken pestles, young Brahmins grind corn. Nourishing wives and children, young Brahmins find wealth. 176. Strive after the Buddha's teaching, which having done, one does not repent. Quickly, having washed your feet, sit down on one side. 177. Summoning up the mind, intent and well concentrated, consider the constituent elements as other and not as self. 178. Having heard her utterance, the advice of Patachara, having washed my feet, I sat down on one side. 179. In the first watch of the night, I recollected that I had been born before. In the middle watch of the night, I purified the Deva I. 180. In the last watch of the night, I tore asunder the mass of darkness. Then I stood up with the triple knowledge. Your advice has been taken. 181. I shall dwell honoring you like the 30 Devas honoring Indra, who is unconquered in battle. I have the triple knowledge. I am without asavas. So it looks like this Patachara, she gave advice to many other nuns so that they attain arahanthood. Chala, 182. Summing up mindfulness, a nun with developed faculties appears the peaceful state, the stilling of the constituent elements, happiness. 183. With reference to whom are you shaven? That means who is your teacher? You seem like an ascetic, but you do not approve of sectarians. Why do you practice this, being foolish? And she replied, 184. Sectarians outside rely upon false views. They do not know the Dhamma. They are not proficient in the Dhamma. 185. There was born in the Sakya clan the Buddha, the unrivaled one. He taught me the Dhamma, the complete overcoming of false views. 186. Pain or suffering, the uprising of pain and the overcoming of pain, and the Noble Eightfold Path leading to the stilling of pain. 187. Having heard his utterance, I dwelt delighting in his teaching. The 3 knowledges have been obtained. The Buddha's teaching has been done. 188. Everywhere enjoyment of pleasure is defeated. The mass of darkness is torn asunder. Thus know, evil one, you are defeated and maker. Upachala, 189. Possessed of mindfulness, possessed of vision, a nun with developed faculties appears the peaceful state, not cultivated by evil men. 190. Why do you not approve of birth? One who is born enjoys sensual pleasures. Enjoy the delights of sensual pleasures. Do not be a repenter afterwards. So this must be Mara. 191. For one who is born, there is death, the cutting off of hands and feet, slaughter, bonds and calamity. One who is born goes to pain. 192. There was born in the Sakya clan the unconquered enlightened one. He taught me the Dhamma, the complete overcoming of birth. 193. Pain, the uprising of pain and the overcoming of pain, and the Noble Eightfold Path leading to the stilling of pain. 194. Having heard his utterance, I dwelt delighting in his teaching. The 3 knowledges have been obtained. The Buddha's teaching has been done. 195. Everywhere enjoyment of pleasure is defeated. The mass of darkness is torn asunder. Thus know, evil one, you are defeated and maker. Group of 8 verses. Sisu Pachala, 196. A nun possessed of virtue, well controlled in her faculties, shall obtain the peaceful state, never causing surfeit of sweet flavor. 197. The Tavatimsa, Yama, Tusita Devatas, the Nimanarati Devas, and the Vasavati Devas. Apply your mind there, where you lived before. So this is Mara telling this nun to think of all the sensual desire realm heavens. 198. The Tavatimsa, Yama, Tusita Devatas, Nimanarati Devas, and the Vasavati Devas. 199. Again and again, from existence to existence, are exposed to identity, not having passed beyond identity, pursuing birth and death. 200. The whole world is ablaze. The whole world has flared up. The whole world is blazing. The whole world is shaken. 201. The Buddha taught me the Dhamma, unshakable, incomparable, not cultivated by ordinary people. Thereto my mind was deeply attached. 202. Having heard his utterance, I dwelt delighting in his teaching. The 3 knowledges have been obtained. The Buddha's teaching has been done. 203. Everywhere enjoyment of pleasure is defeated. The mass of darkness is torn asunder. Thus know, evil one, you are defeated and maker. Group of 9 verses. Vada's mother. 204. May there not be to you, Vada, at any time craving for the world. Child, do not be happy. Do not be again and again a sharer in pain. 205. Happily indeed, Vada, dwell the sages, free from lust, with doubts cut off, become cool, having attained self-taming, being without asavas. 206. O Vada, devote yourself to the way practiced by seers for the attainment of insight, for the putting of an end to pain. 207. That was the mother speaking. Then the daughter. Now, 207. Confident indeed you speak this matter to me, mother. Now indeed, I think, craving is not found in you, mother. And the mother replied, 208. Whatever constituent elements, Vada, are low, high or middle. For them, craving, even of minute size, is not found in me. 209. All the asavas of me, meditating, vigilant, have been annihilated. The 3 knowledges have been obtained. The Buddha's teaching has been done. And Vada says, 210. Truly my mother, because of being sympathetic, applied an excellent goal to me, namely verses connected with the highest goal. 211. Having heard her utterance, the instruction of my mother, I reached a state of religious excitement in the Dhamma, for the attainment of rest from exertion. 212. That same I, being resolute for exertion, not relaxing day or night, being urged on by my mother, attained supreme peace. So this Vada's mother is an Arahant nun and give this advice to her daughter, and her daughter attained Arahanthood also.